All right. Well, welcome everybody. If you missed the first, or you caught the first little episode that we had there with trying to get our streaming program to work, then you know that we were having some technical difficulties tonight. But I think we got everything straightened out, so we should be good to go to talk about Disney. The program that we are using, which actually is a great program, even though it may not seem like it at the moment with the technical stuff. We're still kind of learning it because it's a new streaming program that we're using. But it's called StreamYard. And for the interactive portion that we're going to do at the end of this video, where I'm going to take questions from you all and try to answer as many as I can. If you want your profile picture and your name to show up in the comments on the screen, then you do have to approve StreamYard to actually see your profile. Now, if you don't want to do that, it's no problem at all. Your question will pop up as anonymous Facebook user, and that's totally fine. But if you want your picture or your name to show up, then you would need to approve StreamYard in advance. One of the cool things about StreamYard is that it actually lets two people interact and kind of be streaming live at the same time. So Evan is helping me out tonight. He's going to be kind of fielding the questions or organizing the questions and throwing it over to me. So this is my husband, Evan, if you've never met Evan before.
Hi, everyone. And I realized it was actually my fault that we weren't successful on the first attempt because I had a overlay over the screen and I forgot to remove the overlay. So it was actually showing us, but we were overlaid with that image. So that was my fault. I apologize.
No worries. No problem at all. So we are here tonight to talk about Disney, and we're here to talk about some of the updates that Disney has released. And Evan, I think I'm coming through your microphone a little bit. There we go. I think that made it a little bit better. We're sitting in the same room, as you can probably tell by the backgrounds behind us. But the thing with Disney and with everything that we're experiencing in the world that is in the midst of a global pandemic is that the one constant in all of this is change. And so information is constantly rolling out. Policies and procedures are changing on pretty much a daily basis for a lot of our favorite vendors. And so I like to get in touch with people who are following this story, whether you are clients of mine or you're thinking of booking a trip, or you're just someone who loves Disney or loves Universal or just loves travel and wants to be in the know. And I like to kind of keep you in the know and keep you up to date. So not too long ago, we did a Q&A panel with some other agents from Marvelous Mouse Travels all about Universal. And if you missed that, you can find that on our page. You can also find that on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/GingerMMT. But I try to keep you up to date as much as possible. And then definitely for people who have their trips booked with me, they've already received an email with some of this information and are going to receive another email with even more detailed information about what we're about to talk about than what I'm sharing here. But I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights of the updates and what's going on in the world of Disney as of today. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the know before you go microsite. Evan is actually going to put the web address for that in the comments because it's long and it's kind of hard to remember, but it's disneyworld.disney.go.com/experience-updates/ Again, we'll put the link in the comments so you don't have to try to remember that. But that is the know before you go microsite. And that is Disney's place that they are putting the most updated information about Disney. So all that stuff that's changing on a daily basis, it's being posted there with references to, if you have questions, reach out to your travel advisor. And so, that microsite is something that I'm going to be posting on my page, that I'm going to be emailing out to clients, that I'm going to be constantly pointing people back to. We were, speaking about this earlier, with some folks also in the Disney world, and we were talking about the fact that if you are following like a blog, for instance, then the information that is on that blog today could be outdated tomorrow. because things really are changing that fast. And so if you want the most updated information, the best thing you could do would be to work with a Disney, an authorized Disney vacation planner like Marvelous Mouse Travels. We're getting information, we're getting updates directly from Disney. We're getting things like this site, but I'm referring to this site on a daily basis, sending this out to clients. And this is the place where all of the latest updates, all of the latest information is posted. So if you have a question or you want to know what's changed, Know Before You Go is that go-to resource that travel advisors and consumers alike can look at together. And then as a travel advisor, I have the backstory of what it means, not just what it says, but what it means and how it is specifically going to impact your reservation. But I wanted to point that out. We need to, in times like this, be relying on official Disney sources. And Marvelous Mouse Travels is only ever going to share with you official information that is coming straight from Disney and that is up to date. And so I always post that type of information, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, is the real deal latest stuff. So there's lots of things on this list. And if you have questions as I'm going through all of this stuff about anything that I've talked about, go ahead at any point and drop that in the comments. And then at the end of this, after I've kind of run through it all, I will answer any questions that we have. If you happen upon this video after it's no longer live, feel free to ask those questions in the comments and I will still see it. Or you can always send an email to ginger@marvelousmousetravels.com, message me through Facebook. You can go to GingerMMT.com and that'll give you my link tree, which is all of my social media accounts and how to get in touch with me if you have a more specific question after the live video. But first up on our list is Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party has actually been canceled for 2020. I know for a lot of people that was really a disappointing announcement to hear from Disney. For us personally and our family, the Halloween party is one of our favorite events to attend. And so we actually had tickets booked for Mickey's Not So Scary this year. And so we were, a little bit disappointed about that too. But the rationale behind that was Disney said they're not going to be able to do some of the things that make that party worth the extra ticket. So the special parade, the special fireworks that you can only see during the party, some of the special meet and greets that you can only get during the party, those would not potentially be available. And so they made that very difficult decision to cancel the Halloween party for this year. The same thing is true for the H2O Glow Nights at Typhoon Lagoon. Those are also canceled for 2020. There is no official word yet on Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Disney has not made the decision on the Christmas party yet. So we don't know what will happen with that. But again, I'm following along. I got access to Disney, very close access to Disney. And so as that information is coming out, it will be released to you once it's official from Disney, whether it's a yes or a no on the Christmas party. But as of right now, we just don't know. But what we know for sure is that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and the H2O Glow Nights have been canceled for 2020. If you had tickets booked to either of those two events, then Disney will be assisting with refunds for that in the coming weeks. So typically those tickets are non-refundable, but obviously under the circumstances, Disney is refunding those tickets to people like us who had already purchased their tickets and were already preparing to go. A next announcement that Disney made yesterday was actually that the Food and Wine Festival, the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival, is actually going to start as early as July 15th this year. That's the earliest that the Food and Wine Festival has ever started. The Food and Wine Festival is one of our favorites at Epcot. In fact, it is my personal favorite. I think Evan likes the Flower and Garden Festival a little bit better because he likes to take pictures of all the flowers. He's super into photography. But the Food and Wine Festival is my favorite because I like the food, in all honesty, and there's lots of cool things to taste kind of your way around the world at Epcot. So it's going to run all the way into the fall. So you're going to get like a supersized festival this year, Food and Wine Festival, which is super cool for those of us that are fans of it. The Eat to the Beat concert series is not going to be happening though. So they're not going to be bringing in the big name hits because that would draw crowds, and we're trying to avoid big crowds. But you will still get to enjoy musical performances of local performers throughout the pavilions and World Showcase like you typically would. So there will be music, there will be food, but there won't be that official Eat to the Beat concert series. On kind of the same note, there's been no official decision yet on the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays in the candlelight processional. I know for a lot of people that is a yearly tradition for your family, something that is, something you do every Christmas. And so I'm sure you're waiting anxiously to hear the answer on that. And no official decision has been made by Disney about those two things yet. But as soon as that decision has been made and it's been communicated to us, I will be passing that information along to you as well. But there is no official word on that yet. So another piece of news is that dining reservations are open for people with reservations between June 22nd, when the resort hotels open back up, and July the 11th. So if you have a reservation within that window, if it's for a Disney Springs restaurant that you're wanting a reservation, you can actually go online on the Disney account and you can book that reservation online for select restaurants in Disney Springs. But if you are wanting to book one of the resort on property resort hotel restaurants, or anything essentially that is on owned by Disney in some way, those have to be called in. Those reservations have to be called in, and they could be called in by you or by your travel agent starting at 7 a.m. On the day that your dining window opens. So for instance, we are going down for a few days to film some resort tours next week. And so we were able to book our dining reservations just a couple of days ago for the places that we wanted to eat. And dining reservations, typically dining booking windows are 180 days out, but they're narrowing that down to 60 days out. So if you have a reservation beyond July 11th, Disney will be allowing you to book those closer to your reservation. So as of right now, it's just through July 11th.
And can I say one quick thing in
Absolutely.
addition to that? I noticed you mentioned Disney Springs and also Disney Resort Hotel restaurants. You didn't mention restaurants in the parks yet because they're not going to be open before July 11th. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, because the first day that any of the parks are going to be open is July 11th. Now there is we did get information. I'm an annual pass holder with Disney, and I did get some information from Disney about annual pass holder previews happening a couple of days prior to that for people that can get a reservation to get in to do that. But I don't believe that the reservations, you can book dining reservations on those days. I don't know that for sure, but Disney has not said that you can. So I'm assuming that means that you probably can't. But yeah, you can't book Cinderella's Royal Table between now and July 11th because you can't get into Cinderella Castle. So that's not something that we could do. Let's see here. So I believe the only thing that I'm going to other thing I need to say before we get to the park pass system, which is really the big piece of news that dropped today, is about MagicBands. I don't know. Let me see in my picture here. I don't know if you can see. Nope, you can't see my display sign in the shot right now with my MagicBands, but I have too many MagicBands, more MagicBands than one person should probably have. But if you're not familiar with what MagicBands are, it's essentially a bracelet, an RFID bracelet that you can use as your park ticket. You can pay with it if it's linked to your room account. You use it to scan in for your fast passes. You use it to open your room if you're staying at a Disney Resort hotel. So MagicBands have always been the solid color standard ones have always been complimentary with your Disney resort package. So if you book a hotel and ticket package through Disney or through somebody like Marvelous Mouse Travels, who's an authorized Disney vacation planner, then you would get that Magic Band for free. As of January 1st, 2020, Magic Bands are no longer going to be complimentary. On-site guests already have the option of paying a discounted rate to update to like a cool designed Magic Band that might have characters on it or something like that. You will still be able to do that. So you will still be able to purchase Magic Bands at a discount versus what you would pay if you just went on shopdisney.com and you bought Magic Bands that way. So you can still do that. If you don't want to have to pay, you can use your phone for a lot of the things that Magic Bands can do for you through the My Disney Experience app. Or you can also get a complimentary key to the world card that you could put in like a lanyard or something and use that as well. But complimentary Magic Bands are only going to remain in existence through the end of 2020. And then as of January 1st, 2021, Magic Bands will be an additional purchase at that point. All right. So the last thing, forgive me as I look at my notes, there's a lot of information to cover. But the last thing that we're going to talk about is the Disney Park Pass system. So we knew that this was coming. We were aware of the fact that Disney was going to have to do something to control the capacity within their theme parks. And so they announced how they are going to be handling that today with the introduction of the Disney Park Pass system. So essentially, what this is, if you are someone who has tickets already or who has a Disney resort stay and tickets packaged together, or who is an annual pass holder, in order to be able to actually enter a park, you are going to need to go to My Disney Experience. You're going to need to log in. You're going to need to have everything linked, which we'll talk more about that in just a second. But you're going to have to actually reserve in advance a specific day that you want to visit a specific park. So, for instance, let's say I have a stay booked for fall break. Let's say I have one from, I don't even know what days of the week this is, but let's say I have a stay from October 1st through October 8th. I can't just in my mind think, I think we're going to go to Magic Kingdom on October 2nd. I would have to actually go into my Disney Experience account and I would have to check the availability to make sure that there's room for me at Magic Kingdom on October 2nd. And then I would have to book a park reservation. Even if I've already purchased tickets or have an annual pass, I still have to go in and make that reservation. Or come October 2nd, if I go walking up to the gate and I haven't made my park reservation, they're going to say, I'm so sorry, we can't let you in. You have to have a park reservation. So this is going to be for the rest of 2020. And as of right now, it will be in 2021 as well. We don't know if it will be through the entirety of 2021, but we will definitely be following that along closely, and we'll let you know if and when at any point that changes in the future. But as of right now, through 2020 and through 2021, before you could enter a park, you have to have valid park admission. You have to have it linked to your My Disney Experience account, and you have to have gone in and reserved a specific park for a specific day. A natural question that probably comes out about that is, well, what about park hopper? Park hopper tickets, as of right now, park hopping is suspended. So if you have park hopper tickets, each situation is going to be a little bit different about what your options are. If you're working with a travel advisor, definitely work out or reach out to your travel advisor about that. But park hopping is temporarily suspended, and you are going to have to reserve a specific park on a specific day. When you do that, before you can actually save that park reservation, you have to agree to terms and conditions. You have to sign a health waiver. So the park reservations are something that have to be done by the guest who's visiting the park. So even though as a travel agent, I can book a lot of things for my clients, I can help them book dining reservations, I can help them book fast passes. I cannot book these park reservations for them because I cannot sign a health waiver on their behalf. But what I can do and what I will do for clients is I will absolutely walk them through that process. I will explain to them exactly how it works. I will advise them as to what day I think that they should visit each park. And then I will be sitting by my phone as soon as they can be booking their park reservations on standby if anything happens to go wrong while they're doing that. But that's what the Disney Parks pass system is. Why is it needed? It's needed to control park capacity. One of the conditions upon which Disney was allowed to reopen is that Disney had to agree to limit capacity in their parks. And so this is one way that they're doing that they're making sure that too many people aren't in the park on one day. Now, other theme parks aren't handling it the same way. Some theme parks are operating on a first come, first serve basis. So, you don't know in advance really until you get there if you're going to get into the park or not, unless you're, staying in a particular hotel or something like that. Disney has chosen a different path. One is not better or worse than the other. It's just different ways that theme parks are handling it. But that's the reasoning behind this, and why they've needed to put something like this in effect. So the next thing we're going to talk about is who can book these park pass reservations and when you can book that, because this is the big time sensitive element of all of this. So Evan, we have some graphics that he is going to be putting onto the screen for us and here in just a second. And I'm kind of going to talk through what these mean. So Evan, can you actually go to the other one first? I think I gave you these out of order accidentally, but we'll come back to that one. So if you have currently a 2020 Disney Resort package that has a hotel and valid park admission, they don't even really have to be a package. Like if you have an annual pass holder, if you are an annual pass holder, if you have a Disney Resort booked and you have valid theme park admission or select other hotels booked, like the Swan and Dolphin, for instance, and all of that is linked on your My Disney experience, then on June 22nd, which is this coming Monday, starting at 7 o'clock a.m., you can log on to your My Disney experience account and you can book your park reservations at that time. Okay, so if you have a 2020 stay, it's already booked, you already have your tickets or your pass, you got your hotel stay, everything's linked in My Disney experience, you can book that starting June 22nd at 7 a.m. Eastern time. If you are an annual pass holder who does not have a resort stay, so maybe you're a local or you're staying in a timeshare or something like that, you can book yours starting June 26th at 7 o'clock a.m. And if you are a ticket holder, but you're not staying in one of those select hotels, so again, maybe you're staying in a timeshare or something like that, you can book your park reservations starting at 7 a.m. Eastern on June 28th. Okay. So as of right now, 2020 new bookings for 2020 are suspended. That's been frozen right now while they kind of work out the guests who are already booked, figure out who wants to go to what park on what day. And if, more availability is available, then they could open up more bookings for 2020, potentially at a later date. But as of right now, this is for people who already have those reservations booked, okay, or already have those packages or tickets booked. Now they need to go back in and do that extra step of making their park reservation. Evan,
Hey,
now
Jen,
if yes, sir.
If you could repeat your last couple sentences, your I think our streaming service froze on us for a second, so
Uh-oh.
our audio went out for just a second.
Okay.
If you could repeat those last few sentences about if you already have a package booked for 2020.
Yes. So if you already have a package booked for 2020, then there are different you can book, the earliest you could possibly book your park reservations would be June 22nd, which is this coming Monday, starting at 7 o'clock a.m. So that is if you have a resort stay at a Disney hotel or one of those select other hotels like the Swan and Dolphin or some of the other official Walt Disney World hotels, and you already have valid theme park admission and everything's linked on My Disney Experience, you can make your park reservations starting at 7 o'clock a.m. on June 22nd. If you don't have that resort stay, but you do have valid park admission, if that park admission is an annual pass, then you can book your park reservations starting at 7 a.m. Eastern on June 26th. And if you're a ticket only client not staying at an on-site hotel or an official Walt Disney World hotel, you can book your park reservations starting at 7 a.m. Eastern on June 28th. Is that good? Awesome. So for 2021, a lot of people are asking questions about, well, what if, I don't want to go in 2020? What if I would much rather go in 2021? We did get great news about that today. We got news that guests who you could prior to today, before all of the new reservations were halted to allow for this new park reservation system to be built. You could book a room only reservation for 2021, or you could book a basic package for 2021, which was, essentially a room and travel protection or memory maker, but with no tickets in it. So on June, if you already have a room only for 2021 or one of those basic packages for 2021, and you would like to add tickets to it, you will be able to do that starting at 7 a.m. on June 24th. So, for instance, I have several clients who are already booked for 2021 who have those ticketless packages or have room only. I've already reached out to them today saying, hey, on the 24th, we can upgrade your package. We can add tickets to it. And as soon as the tickets are in the package, you can go in and you can book your park reservations that day if you want to. For people who want to make new 2021 bookings, or maybe some people who currently have a 2020 package booked and they want to move it to 2021, they can do that on June 28th. So June 28th is the day that 2021 opens for the masses, and only through September 26th. So those latter months of 2021 won't quite be open yet. But if you want to book a 2021 package, you can do that starting on June 28th. And as soon as your package is booked, you can go in and you can make those park reservations to make sure that you get the park you want on the day that you want to have it. And so it's really important to know those dates and to be aware of those dates, because the park reservation system, the park pass system, it is operating on a first come, first serve basis. So it's imperative that you book those park passes as soon as possible. For clients that I'm going to be quoting and booking new things for 2021, I'm going to be asking them up front, what day do you want to do each park? What's your backup plan if that happens to not be available? I'm going to need to know very specific information about how they want their vacation to look before I can book them, because I'm going to be looking at the park availability. Typically, when we would book a package, the first thing we would look at would be hotel availability. Now we have to also consider park availability and make sure that what the parks they want are going to be available on the dates that they want them to be. But that is the gist of the park pass system here. Now let's talk a little bit about how to book it. And we actually have a little video that, if it will work, we're going to try to overlay for you all to kind of explain how that system works. So let's see if we can get that going. Take a little sip of my water here, losing my voice. There are 4 steps to making a theme park reservation. The first is to link your park admission to your My Disney Experience account. For many of you, I've already sent instructions regarding this process, but it doesn't hurt to review. Simply go to www.startyourdisneyexperience.com. If you already have a Disney account, simply log in with your existing credentials. If you don't have an existing Disney account, you can create one. Once you've logged in, let your cursor hover over Resort Hotel and choose the Link a Stay option if you have a package or a room-only booking. Enter your confirmation number and the last name of the lead guest on the reservation. If you have theme park tickets that are separate from your package, you will need to link those separately. Simply hover your cursor over the Tickets tab and then select Link Tickets and enter your ticket confirmation number. Step 2 is to create your travel party. Go to the Friends and Family option from the drop-down menu. If everyone who will be traveling with you is not on your Friends and Family list, you can add them by importing their resort information, inviting them to connect, or entering their name and age manually. Step 3 is to select a date and a park for your visit. From the drop-down menu, click Disney Park Pass System. Currently, you will only find information about the Park Pass system here, but eventually you will be able to view park availability for specific dates, as well as make selections at this link. Park reservations operate on a first-come, first-served basis, so it is crucial to book these as soon as you possibly can. It is important to note that park reservations cannot be made through the My Disney Experience app at this time. You will need to visit www.startyourdisneyexperience.com and log in using a web browser on a desktop, laptop, or mobile device. If there's a mixture of affinity groups in your party, know that only guests with the same affinity can make their park reservations at the same time. For example, if you have booked a theme park package with hotel and tickets for your family, but your in-laws are annual pass holders, your park reservations and their park reservations will have to be booked in separate transactions. However, you can certainly try to schedule them for the same park and the same day, pending availability. Park reservations can be modified up to 11:59 p.m. the day prior to admission. Step 4 is to review and confirm your plans. This is the step at which you will accept the terms and conditions and sign the COVID-19 waiver. Without these 2 steps, your park reservation will not be accepted. So that was a quick overview, and I know that I definitely talked very quickly through that video. If you are a current client of mine, you are going to get that video plus more information in an email later this evening. I've already put that together for you, and it's just a matter of sending it out with additional instructions. So you will get that again. You can also access an abbreviated version of that information on that Know Before You Go website that I mentioned earlier. But there's also information about it, as you saw in the video, actually through My Disney Experience, making sure that you click Disney Park Pass and then read through all of that. And if you need additional help with that. But again, people who have booked their vacations through me, I'm on standby while you're booking it. So if you need assistance, I'm a phone call away or a text message away, and I'll be happy to help you as much as possible. I would encourage everyone who's going to be booking their park reservations to make sure that your My Disney Experience, everything is linked before 7 a.m. on the day that you can book those park passes. A lot of my clients, that's the first thing in the first email you get from me. Thank you for booking. It talks about My Disney Experience, because I think that the earlier that you get that set up, the best. And that is definitely true right now with that park pass system. You want to have everybody linked. You want to have your whole friends and family list built and all of that stuff ready to go, so that at 7 a.m., all you have to do is you have to get on there and book your park reservation. You're not having to waste time the morning of, making sure that all that stuff is right. I do that when I book dining and fast passes for clients. I make sure well before the morning that I'm booking those things that everybody's linked, everybody's connected, everything looks the way that it should. So I think that's everything that I have to share. Do we have some questions, Evan, from anybody?
We sure do. Krista, I think her first question was already answered. She initially said, if you already have a hotel booked for 2021, will they still be included as long as they are ordered before the end of the year, the MagicBands?
The MagicBands. So that is a great question as to whether I don't believe that even if you've already booked that 2021 vacation in 2020, that you would still get those complimentary MagicBands. That's something I don't think that I have official clarification from Disney, but I can definitely find out. But I think that for travel dates from January 1st on, no matter when you booked it, that those complimentary MagicBands are not going to be included anymore. Yeah.
And I thought she got her first question answered already, but I was wrong. She was just excited in the next one. I love it. Yeah,
Okay.
can't wait to book our tickets. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Winter has a question.
Yeah.
She said, so are they not doing fast passes with the park pass system?
Fantastic question. So fast passes are temporarily suspended for right now. I don't believe that that's permanent. I can't predict the future, so I can't 100% say that it's not, but I have no reason immediately to believe that that's permanent. But as of this moment, fast passes are suspended. And that's been in place for a couple of weeks. That fast pass reservations were automatically canceled by Disney. Same thing with dining reservations. They had canceled ones that had been previously made, and they had also removed dining plans from packages. And all of those are just measures to ensure physical distancing and also to manage capacity. So the reason why Disney has temporarily suspended the fast passes is because they're going to be using the fast pass queue for additional space to make sure people are 6 feet apart from other parties. So that's the rationale behind that. It's just to make sure that we can maintain some physical distancing. Anything else?
We do have one more.
Okay.
Krista had another very good question. She said, do we know if there will be modified park hours to go along with the reservation system?
That's a good question too, and I'm glad you asked it because I forgot to mention park hours. You will be able to view the park hours before you make your park reservations. So if hours are shorter on one day than another or something like that, you would know that in advance before you pick that day. So they're not going to surprise you with park hours. In fact, that would be listed in the same place where you're looking for the availability for the day. And the availability system is going to be color coded. So for instance, let's say I want to look at Monday, whatever. Well, let's say this were an option for this coming Monday and I wanted to go to the park on Monday, June 22nd. If Monday, June 22nd is green, then that means that every park is available. And I could do that. If it's yellow, that means some of the parks are available, some of them aren't. If it's gray, that means there's no availability that day. And so I would need to look at other dates or something like that. So that's why for people that are making new reservations, it's so important to check availability for the parks before you book to make sure that that would be a good date range for you. But you will know about the park hours before you make those park reservations for sure. Good question.
And Winter just asked one
Uh-huh.
other question. So is there not going to be a dining plan for 2021 either?
So we don't know a lot of information about exactly what 2021 packages are going to look like. We are going to get more information about that when they open booking. We'll be able to see what all is available to be booked starting on June 28th for next year. As of right now, the dining plans have been taken out of the packages for the remainder of 2020. And again, that's, for capacity control in restaurants and stuff like that. And so we don't know exactly what the package details will look like for 2021, but I think that we're going to find out soon. Anything else?
I believe that's all.
Okay. Well, again, if you have questions that come to mind or you happen across this video after the live portion of it is done, you can always ask questions in the comments. You can ask questions via email at ginger@marvelousmousetravels.com. You can go to gingermmt.com and find every link to all of my different social medias if you want to connect with me through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Pinterest or whatever else. You can find all of that there at my Linktree page. And I'm available to answer questions. If you're a current client, again, you're going to get this information plus some in an email coming out to you later tonight. And you also are going to get, most of you already have, but if you've lost it, you're going to get my phone number again, and different ways we can set up a phone conference. I've got one set up with a client for tomorrow morning. We're going to talk together about her reservation. We're going to try and make a plan for her park days, make sure everything's set up and looking the way it should so that she is ready to go on Monday morning to book her park passes. So I will definitely do that for any client that wants to discuss it with me over the phone. We can do that too if social media is not your thing. So
we had a couple more comments come through.
Sure. Yeah.
Krista said, "Thank you for staying on top of all this. You're the best."
Oh, thank you, Krista. I appreciate it.
That was very sweet. Thank you.
A very sweet comment.
And Winter said, "Well, hopefully by August 2021, everything will be great."
Hopefully, man. I hope so.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I said, at the beginning of this thing. The only thing that's been constant through this whole process is change. So just because something looks in a particular way today, it doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. So we just got to roll with it and keep our eyes and ears open and stay tuned for what's next. But yes, I would hope, I would hope so too, Winter, for sure. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I guess we'll go ahead and call it a night. Thank you guys again so much for joining us. I hope you got value out of this. If you did, give us a like. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a subscribe, so that you're always following along with us for all the latest updates.